So, storytellers are the most powerful people in the world. Now, our bodies are covered in stories. I mean, we have so many stories about who we are, who we've been, and what types of decisions we make. Those things are all based around who we are, who we believe to be, because we have stories. And our stories are incredibly powerful. Now, Acts 7 tells the story of Stephen. And Stephen begins to tell the story of the Bible to the people who are trying to kill him. He decides that he wants to start with Moses, and he begins to tell the story of God's people from the beginning. And the way he does it is incredible. He does it like a jazz musician who's improvising the story and making sure that the people who are there, who want to kill him, and the onlookers understand that there is a before and an after for him. There was a time when before he knew who Jesus was and the transformative power of Jesus' life, and then who he is now after he learned about that story. And he's sharing that powerful story with these people. There is a before and an after for Stephen. And when he's actually killed, some people say he was the first Christian martyr. When he is killed by this crowd, he says this very crazy thing to think about someone who's getting killed. He says, "Do not hold this sin against them." Do not hold this sin against him. Now, the Jesus story is often a story that doesn't make very much sense. And here's what I mean. It doesn't make very much sense because you're supposed to love your enemies in the Jesus story. You're supposed to forgive those who have done harmful things to you. You're supposed to give grace to those who don't deserve it. The Jesus story often doesn't really make a lot of sense because you're supposed to pray for those who persecute you. And Stephen is doing just that. But this story is also the most powerful story that's ever been told. And there's this man at the end of this story, at the next chapter, and his name's Saul. And Saul looks at what is happening and says to himself that this is what they should be doing: killing these Christians. But this Saul, seeing this story with his very own eyes, will eventually be transformed into Paul. This Saul who's almost organizing this horrific event towards these Christians will soon have a before and an after. So what's your story? Did you know that your story is incredibly powerful? Storytellers are the most powerful people in the world. So what is your before and after? And how can you live into the Jesus story? Because it is truly the most powerful story that's ever been told. And you get to be a part of it. Amen.